Okay, I started the recording and welcome
I see.
everyone to our first quarter meeting of 2022 and a belated Happy New Year to everyone. Super excited to be at the helm here and I'm so glad that Patrice could join us. We've got 3 terrific presentations for this evening on behalf of very worthy organizations and projects. One of those is going to get a $14,000 boost, maybe closer to 15,000. Thank you so much to Ingrid for stepping in to coordinate the technology this evening. If anyone has problems during the show, you can text her at 907-299-4370. If you need any help. And hey, Ingrid, how many members do we have on board the meeting now?
Currently at 38 and people are trickling in, and I'm going to put my phone number in the chat for anyone who would like to text me.
Thanks for doing that. Maybe we should wait a minute or two more before you give an overview of how to use Zoom and everything. I thought about having background music, but I haven't quite gotten to, to that today. So I'm glad people are finding the Zoom. I think we only had about 40 people in December, so maybe that's our Zoom capacity. I am excited. I got confirmation yesterday that we can have a hybrid meeting starting with the June meeting. What that means is those who are in town and who are comfortable being in person can gather together in person. So exciting. And anyone who is out of town or is more comfortable on Zoom can watch and participate on Zoom live. So we can all be exactly where we need to be and vote at the same time and everything. And that is going to be at the college, which I think some people had figured out because they have the technology and the support. But that was confirmed by Jill at the college, Jill Burnham. She's got it okayed all the way up to UAA, so we'll be able to do that next time, which is really great. Yeah, so I think we should get the meeting started if you think we've got enough people. Ingrid, how many are there now?
My list says 45, but Suzanne says 50. So I'm up to 46 now, but that might not be including you.
I have 46.
Okay. Oh yeah. So my participant list says 46, and it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of like popcorn where once it starts slowing down, you can start. So I feel like we're at that point. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a quick review of all things Zoom in our COVID Zoom world. So for everybody, and I'm sorry if everybody knows this, but I'm just gonna do it just for a refresher. On the bottom of your screen, you have a menu bar, and in the far left bottom corner, you have the microphone, and that's the mute. And for the majority of this meeting, you're going to want to click it so there's a red bar right through that microphone, and it's red, and that means no one can hear you. And then when you're presenting, you want to click on that microphone, and it will take you off of mute. Next to the microphone is a little picture icon of a camera. And if you click on that, your video goes away like this, and you become a talking black box. And if you click it back on, your face appears and you become the smiling, lovely woman that you are. From there, there's a couple of different icons that are less important to us this evening. But the other icon that I find is important, and it might be different on your computer. Some of you will have 3 dots with the word more underneath it, and that, if you click on it, will give you reactions or the chat box. So if you see chat and you go to there, it'll show the box on the side of your screen where you can type something in chat and we will see it. You can also do reactions, and that's where you'll find the raise hand signal, and it'll look like a little yellow hand going like this. That's going to be your easiest way for us to see you. There's also thumbs up and clapping and all. You can get really into that, but I think the most important thing for tonight is the raise hand. And if you are having difficulty finding that, you can always type in the chat. I'm reading that. You can text me. I'll type my number into the chat again. And you can also raise your hand in real life and one of us will notice. So please feel free to reach out to us in one of those ways and we will make sure to get to your questions. The other thing is one person was talking about views. If you go to the top right corner of your screen, there should say the word view. And with me right now, I have view and 9 boxes. And that's so that I can see everyone. And if I click on that, I have the option of going to speaker view. And if I press that, Catriona's face is in the big center of my screen, and then everybody else is a small box on the top. So you have an option on whether you want to see the gallery view, which is everyone, or the speaker. And so that is just personal preference. But while we do the presentations, there'll be slideshows. So we'll all be tiny boxes on the side. And Catriona, is there other things you want me to mention, or are we good with that?
I think that was probably the best Zoom introduction that 100 Women Who Care has ever had. So thank you so much for that. What I'm going to do is take a minute to explain the process for 100 Women Who Care, because we've got some new members and some visitors today. So and I think Ingrid's got some slides. We got really fancy. So we meet for 1 hour, 4 times a year on the first week of March, June, September, and December, rotating days between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The purpose of that is so if people have commitments to other boards and things, they'll be able to come at least sometimes. So using that algorithm, our next meeting will be Tuesday, June 7th. And the hour goes like this: a brief welcome, an update from the recipient from the last quarter's donation, 3 presentations by current members. They're chosen a week in advance by lottery, and each one gets 5 minutes to tell us why we should vote for their charity or program. After that, we have a brief question and answer for all 3 presentations, and then we have the vote. During the vote, we've got a little bit of announcements to make, and then after that, we'll find out who won the vote. And then everybody will write a $100 check to the organization with the most votes, whether or not they voted for that organization. Then you make the check for $100 or more out to the organization that gets the most votes. And you do not write your check to 100 Women Who Care. And you do not send your check directly to the organization. We're going to need to track it first and compile them so that they're not having to do a whole bunch of paperwork. And then we'll notify all the members by email and Facebook about which organization is the recipient, and everyone can mail their checks to 100 Women Who Care at 202 West Pioneer Avenue, or drop their checks off at the Art Shop Gallery inside during business hours, or in the mailbox next to the door after hours. And of course, if you want to write multiple checks because you feel strongly about one or both of the other causes, you can certainly do that. You just must do the check to the main organization first. And so, welcome everyone. It's our first meeting of 2022. And first, thank you for your wonderful generosity in donating to our 4th quarter recipient, Megan's Place. We will have an update from Ginny Espenshade in just a few minutes about how our $14,100 donation was used. We had a 96% participation rate last quarter. And unfortunately, 4 members dropped off to the inactive list because they did not donate for 3 meetings in a row. Two members left per their own request. One moved out of town and one just needed to leave. And my notes say we added 2 new members this quarter, but I know that we added 3 new members because one just joined right before this meeting. So thank you to everyone who referred a friend to join the chapter. And as of tonight, we now have 150 members. Okay, and I think those numbers are coming up on your screen. Hopefully that's helpful. Great. For an extra incentive, again, if you get your checks in early, you'll be in a drawing for 2 dozen cookies, and this quarter, the cookies of your choice, within reason. My cooking skills are not that huge. And the date for that entry is Friday, March 11th. So next week, Friday, if you have your check-in, you will be in the cookie drawing. In addition to the $14,100 raised by Megan's Place, there was a total donation of $600 to the Kachemak Bay Conservation Society and $780 to the Rec Room at Kachemak Bay Family Planning Clinic. And since our last meeting in March of 2018, our Houma chapter of 100 Women Who Care has donated over $175,000 to charities that serve the Southern Kenai Peninsula. And that's a huge number. I stumbled over saying it because I'm not used to saying a number that big. $175,000 in 4 years is pretty remarkable. So thank you everyone for playing along. And let's see, Ingrid, slide 4. My notes aren't necessarily all that easy. So we've got a fancy QR code for anyone who wants to sign up for the newsletters right now. Or you can go to the website that's there, or you can just email to 100womenhomer@gmail.com. And that pretty much is, we are ready to hear from Ginny.
Thank you, Katriana. I'm going to attempt to start my slideshow. And I can't see any of you now, so if you can't see or hear me, someone needs to holler at me. My name's Ginny Espenshade. I'm a volunteer and board member at Megan's Place, and here to give you an update as to what we've been doing with the funds you gave us last quarter. With about $5,300 of your grant, we created 100 holiday gift bags. We gave 20 of those bags to individuals in residential or outpatient treatment programs in the area, and 80 bags were handed out to our participants at Megan's Place during 3 of our openings. We also had a few that we gave to at the Homeless Connect event. Each bag recipient could choose one of 3 types of gift cards that we purchased locally with your funding. These gift cards were at the recommendations of our participants. Each gift bag included an assortment of items. We did our best to create a balance between items that were necessary and items that were nice. So for example, a bag would have a fancy chocolate medallion from the Truffle Company and deodorant. A bag would have candy canes and tampons. The request from our participants that struck me the hardest was when we were asked if we could find battery operated carbon monoxide monitors. And we found and purchased 4 of those monitors at Omer's, specifically for persons who were living and sleeping in their vehicles in December. We also were donated items to put in the bags. The Spark gave 100 free passes. The Nutcracker Company gave us 100 home COVID tests and masks. And the bags themselves were donated. Some were from Twitter Creek Farm, and Coastal Studies gave us the makings of the fabric bags that were assembled by our volunteers, Sandy Garrity and her granddaughter, Iris. This is the message that we wrote in every card in every one of those 100 gift bags. And I'm sharing it with you because I think it perfectly captures the purpose and the hopeful impact of this project. And I also think it illustrates how good a fit this project was with your chosen model of philanthropy at the community level. There's a lot of verbiage about members caring for each other, but your grant to us and the model that you use to raise those funds walks the talk of a community that cares about each other. It also brought community full circle because those of you that knew Megan Anderson, our namesake, would know that her core being was about meeting people where they were at with love and support. The rest of your funding will be used to purchase our usual harm reduction supplies. I pulled this from an invoice from a year and a half ago because I think it fairly represents the types of items that we purchase on a regular basis and give out for free to our participants, the quantity of those items that we would need in a typical year's worth of service, and the cost of those items. By providing our participants these supplies, there's a direct and immediate benefit, being that we are helping them be safer in their drug usage, whether they're injecting or smoking. There are other benefits and longer term and less direct that I've seen firsthand in the 5 years I've been involved in this project. That being the relationships that we're creating between our space and our volunteers and our participants, and that relationship of mutual trust and respect and care, that then upon that foundation, we can build an ongoing dialogue. So if and when an individual wants to go farther along their path of healthier living and recovery, we can be a resource and connect them to the next steps. Everyone who comes to the exchange has access to free opioid overdose reversal kits. We get these free from the state, Project Hope. We also purchase and provide free fentanyl testing strips. These items have saved lives in our community. So in closing, I want to make sure you hear our gratitude and our thanks on behalf of Megan's Place, on behalf of our 30-some volunteers, on behalf of our 80-some participants. But I also want to just take a few more seconds and express my personal thanks. I've been an admirer of your philanthropy model for a while and intrigued by it. And I always appreciated the power you get as a collective voice and funder, but I never realized how personal it was as well. And I got the opportunity to endorse every one of your checks to Megan's Place. And so many times I turn the check over and see a name that brought a smile to my face, someone that I'm already connected to at different degrees. You know, people I've shared your classrooms, have been in your kitchens, on the ball fields with you, around your fire pits, on the trails, on the bleachers, in your gardens, at your board meetings, on the pickleball courts with you, on your fishing boats, my Friday lunch buddies, and my first friend and neighbor in Alaska some 40 years ago. So it was almost overwhelming to see that, feel that sense of connectedness, and that the power of this form of funding is immense. It's personal but collective, and to me it felt like a group hug. So consider yourself hugged back and wrapped in my personal gratitude. And I'll stay by if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Ginny. That was wonderful. And I completely forgot to time it. So I have no idea where you were as far as 5 minutes, but it was worth every second. That was lovely. And yeah, that, as you know, that's Megan's Place is near and dear to my heart for multiple reasons. What's up next is 3 5-minute pitches. And at the end of those, there'll be Q&A for all 3 presenters, and perhaps we'll wrap in if there's any additional questions for Ginny at that time, since we've got a format for that. So the presenters today, and I think Ingrid has a slide about this too. And it's a lot to juggle over there. How's slide 5 looking, Ingrid? Anyway, so our 3 presenters tonight are Adele Person for the Bunnell Street Arts Center, followed by Jeannie Anderson for the Kachemak City Park Project, and then Renee Allwood for Howl. So I'm super excited. I think this is going to be a very challenging vote. And the first up is Adele.
Thank you, Catriona. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. My name is Adele Person. I'm here to speak on behalf of Tuyanatun Tuget, a public art installation to be installed at Bishop's Beach this September of 2022, representing a culmination of several years of learning and partnership around land acknowledgement and recognition of the rich and shared history of this place we call home. What is land acknowledgement? So when I moved here, a white woman who was born in Argentina and raised in Texas, I was told, oh, there were never native settlements here in Homer. I've come to learn that this is not a complete story, and that this place that we call Homer was and is land used and stewarded by Dena'ina, Sugpiaq, and other indigenous Alaskans. This place we call Homer finds itself within the present day tribal boundaries of the Ninilchik village tribe. The place we call Bishop's Beach is called Tuget in Dena'ina, meaning at the shore. And this name was overwritten and nearly forgotten, but taught to me through the work and inquiry of a Yupik dancer and artist, Emily Johnson. So since that amazing performance in 2015, we've learned a lot more about land acknowledgement and about the history of our place through an incredible series of dialogues and workshops and art proposals at Bunnell and throughout our community. And one of these proposals is Tuyanatun Tuget, by artist and Ninilchik village tribal member, Arjun Kvasnikov.
Tuyanatun is it's really going to be an awesome effort and endeavor moving forward.
When this project came along, it was it was exciting to see it straight away, because I saw it and I thought, yeah, that's going to work, and has huge potential to be spectacular.
I initially came up with the visual aspects first.
There's all these wonderful layers of support and intersection.
Full support from council to have this piece of art in our community.
Tuyanatun is it's really going to be an awesome effort and endeavor moving forward.
When this project came along, it was it was exciting to see it straight away, because
Sorry,
I
that
saw it
skipped
and
a little
I
bit
thought, yeah,
there.
that's going to work, and has huge potential to be spectacular.
I initially came up with the visual aspects first.
There's all these wonderful layers of support and intersection.
Full support from council to have this piece of art in our community.
It's really important for the tribe, obviously, to Indigenous land recognition.
Our part of this is helping to share a lot of this information with the thousands of people that come to Homer.
Culture is more than just specific time periods. It can be something that's transcendent in a way. And I want everybody to feel like they have some kind of ownership with this.
So Tuyanatun Tuget is a public art installation based on a Dena'ina wayfinding system. From a high point in the Caribou Ridge area, there were 5 directions in this system: Tuyanyunch, which would be west towards the ocean, Tuyanyutsin towards Kasilov, Tuyanyunit towards Tustamina, Tuyanyunik towards the Caribou Hills, and Tuyanyudit towards the Homer Spit and Kachemak Bay. And so Tuyanatun is a new direction, pointing to the place that's beloved by all that we call Bishop's Beach, or Tuget. The sculpture evokes the shape of Chwala, a boreal spruce, and Tinatin Kalnigi, like stone trail markers. It evokes the beauty of beach glass and the play of light and water. And Bunnell Street Art Center was awarded a $50,000 grant in 2021 for the construction of the sculpture that will be fabricated from recycled acrylic and weather as beach glass does. The community partnership among the City of Homer and the Nilluchik Village Tribe, Islands of Oceans, Bunnell, Argent, and others is anchoring a creation of a Village Beach master plan with improved bathrooms and ADA accessibility, parking, and other improvements, and recognition of our neighbors. So 100 Women Who Care donations would fund the final installation and production costs, like the metal pole, the bench around the sculpture, and signs to honor this incredible shared story, the process, and those who contributed to its creation. Your support takes this from a concept to a living manifestation of the way we grow richer by listening to each other, learning from the past and present to create a new direction, a guiding star for ourselves and for others. And so with both a sense of opportunity and responsibility and a sense of call and response, I feel honored to share this with you today. And thank you for your consideration.
Thanks so much, Adele. That was literally as my 5-minute timer went off. So kudos for that. And you got the slides to move. So I know that was an issue too. So well done. Next up, our second presenter is Jeannie Anderson and presenting about the Kachemak City Park project.
Okay, I just have to figure out how to get my screen lower here. Sorry, you guys, I can't move my menu bar. There we go. Okay. So first and foremost, thank you for letting me be here and presenting with you. I don't think I could say it better than Ginny, so I'm just gonna say thank you. I'm here on behalf of Kachemak Park Playground Repair Project, which has been a project that started at the beginning of last year and has been ongoing since. And the Kachemak Park is located right behind the Kachemak City Community Center. It's about 3 miles out East End Road off of the second entrance to Bear Creek Circle. It has Alice White Playground. And you can see the old pictures of the park there with the leaning tower of the tennis courts and the broken fences and the very crooked picnic tables. And we've been working for almost 2 years now to repair this project to make it a better place for community health and wellness, also for accessibility and for people of all ages to really use this park recreationally and expand the recreation movement here in Homer. So phase 1 of funding was done in the first 9 months of this project, and we raised enough funds to replace the aging tennis courts, replacement of court fencing. We started the new grass playing field. We developed a new picnic area, expanded the playground equipment, and we just were able to purchase some new equipment, which I will get to in a further slide. And we constructed a pump track, which I will also explain. What we are projecting now is to move to phase 2 funding, which includes development of new trail systems around Bear Creek and throughout the park, more natural wooden climbing equipment and tree houses, and expansions of the playgrounds with natural and hopefully locally resourced materials. Putting up lighting, security cameras, a bear-proof waste bins, a dog park, sledding hill and pond, and the big thing is public use restrooms, which we're advocating for right now. The sledding hill lighting and security cameras are highlighted because we were able to start those projects and propose them to the city, but we have not been able to finish those projects yet. So they're sort of in the works right now as we get more funding. So progress to date, here's a couple of pictures of the bike track that was put in place beginning in last August. We had truckloads of gravel and a lot of community donations for gravel and material and equipment use to put in the only pump track in the Lower Peninsula. And it is incredibly popular, as you can see in this last picture here in the lower right-hand corner. and it's not just kids. We see adults out there all the time too. And it's been awesome to see so many people using that and getting their exercise and fitness out there on that pump track. We completed an aerial depiction of the park, and so this is a design for phase 1. It does not include anything in the new projected phase 2 of park development, and so it includes the playground expansion, which will be right behind the new multi-use courts, and the main trail that will go to what is actually off of this map. Behind these trees in the upper corner, there is going to be a parking pad for more parking. This includes the pump track, the field, and it also includes the sledding hill. So we're also going to put a pond behind that sledding hill for some ice skating too. So that would be really awesome. This is these are some pictures of progress to date. There is a picture of a person who donated a lot of time and equipment, and he's installing the rubber tires and the poles for the pump track. This is the standalone playground equipment that we just purchased and will be installed in the next couple months in the beginning of summer. And those are the 2 lights that we have started so far, but we're hoping to have quite a bit more throughout the park as long as funding permits. So far to date, these are the financial contributions that we've had. Kachemak City has donated some, and we've had grants from several local and other organizations. And then this community in entirety raised $115,000 so far, including $7,000 that we raised in one afternoon in this in our hot dog and pie auction party over there. That we had a big bounce house and stuff. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of people showed up and came together in our essence of community here. So that was a really great thing to see. So what we're asking is to increase our financial goal to complete those amenities that I listed in phase 2 that weren't included in the original budget, such as the public bathrooms, the woodland play structures, trail systems, and the dog park. The funds from 100 Women Who Care will go to landscaping, installation of the playground, building of the woodland structures, and further purchasing of any equipment for natural play spaces for the park. The public restrooms are actually, we're hoping to get funded by the city. So we're hoping to get those regardless, but we'll see what happens. If you're interested in donating, I included a slide because I wasn't sure if Katriana just handed out that information or if I should include it or not, but all of the information for donating to the park is included here if you guys want a copy. And if there are any further questions that we don't have time for, anyone can reach out to me. I'm part of the task force. For,
thank you. Thanks. We're at like 7 minutes now.
Oh,
so.
sorry. Yeah, okay, I'm done.
We could share this. I'll put this, if you send me this slide, I'll pop it in the email.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then next up this evening is Renee, who's going to speak to us about Howl.
All right. Here we go. 5 minutes is not enough. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Fantastic. To represent today, I'm thrilled. Howl, the Homer Wilderness Leaders, and the Dirtbag program that's associated with Howl. So Howl's mission is to empower young leaders through outdoor experiential education by providing fun and dynamic adventures in Alaska. My son was on the first trip in 2009, along with Molly Mitchell. Kim knows, and all of you know, great kids. So Howl takes youth ages 10 plus on multi-day hiking, camping, backpacking, canoeing, sea kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, mountaineering, rock climbing, foraging, expeditions in the Kachemak State Park and beyond. Fantastic overnights and multi-day trips. On the Howell expeditions, the kids learn leadership and teamwork, wilderness survival skills, risk management, leave no trace ethics, hard skills like climbing, knot tying, paddle strokes, confidence and competence. Gotta give a hallelujah for that. Resiliency and perseverance, adaptability and focus. I need to focus. Curiosity and compassion. And compassion is a huge one for this. I will tell you what. Connection to nature and to care for our community. So the Dirtbags program is known as the discount rates to boys and girls, or more recently, fantastically, the discount rates that benefit all genders. So the Dirtbaggers clean up the litter on the beaches, trails, and streets of Homer in April and May. I have to tell y'all that includes dog poop. So everybody hates dog poop on the beach. These kids are picking it up. God love them. The Dirtbags earn scholarships to attend the Howell expeditions in the summer. Also, dirtbag is not a derogatory term. It's a rock climbing equivalent of like a ski bum. So it's super cool. Kids love it. Some stats, which are low balls on the Dirtbags, is since 2011, they've picked up over 2,000 bags of litter from Homer, sorted over 300 bags of recyclable litter, cleaned up over 60 miles of streets, trails, and beaches. They've had well over 150 participants, over 50 volunteers, 75 plus local business supporters, and awarded over $20,000 in scholarships to over 150 kids. So Hal's excited for the summer. We've partnered with the Center for Elastic Coastal Studies, and Molly Mitchell, Kim Fine's one and only, has signed on to be the program's coordinator. So Molly said, participating in Hal as a child is the reason I pursued outdoor experiences as an adult. Wilderness expeditions ground me in who I am and connect me to the incredible, unique ecosystems. I'm filled with excitement as a Hal instructor because I have the opportunity to stimulate nurturing, lifelong relationships to wilderness in a new generation of young Alaskans. And I could not be more chuffed to watch this little girl turn into this woman leading and inspiring a new generation. So Hal's vision is a community in which people engage joyfully with confidence, competence, and care. And the Hal and the Dirtbaggers need our help. So in 2020 and 2021, obviously, we couldn't run any of our regular fundraisers. So the Homer Outdoor Film Festival and Silent Auction, Chowder and Chill, Stoked Harvest Fest, the Hal Benefit Concert, the climbing competition, not even the Dirtbags were out there on the streets. We're all screwed. So with our active board and with Molly running the programs and help from the partnership with the Center for Alaska Coastal Studies and the continued support of all our friends in Homer and hopefully us, the 100 Women Who Care, we continue to carry out our mission and vision and the Dirtbags, and most of all to howl. So our current board members, Todd Hinman, Kate Crowley, Delane, Eliza, Jamie, Tila, Susanna, Libby, of course. And there's one seat vacant, by the way, if anyone wants to join us. Specifically though, with these funds, if we receive them, the fund $10,000 in scholarships, so all kids who want to participate can. So that'll benefit approximately 50 youth, offset the cost of the Howell expeditions so that it's more affordable for the Homer families, which would affect about 80 families. And then we want to restart the Dirtbag program and pick up litter and dog poop from Bishop's Beach, Mariner Beach, Gruen Glacier, trails and roads throughout Homer. You can see this gross picture right here with all the poop they pick up, and my goodness. So thank you for caring for our community. Howl!
Amazing. Good job, Renee. And like my timer just went off too. So yay. Oh, now I can't stop it. Okay, I stopped it. So the next up is about 5 minutes or so of Q&A, which is not long enough. We need about 5 hours. But Ingrid's going to run this portion of the show. And over to you, Ingrid.
Thank you. And I wrote the 3 presenters in the chat. So just if you can't remember the name or the name of the project, please see this chat. And I will try and go first come, first serve with any hands raised or questions written in the chat. So if you want to raise your hand or write a question in the chat, I will call on you. All right, Karen Marks, I see your hand raised. Take it away.
This question is for Adele. So what is the placement of the sculpture that you're looking for assistance to install, number one? And number two, you said that the sculpture was paid for. We're talking about installation. So is there any additional landscaping or something I didn't quite catch that is needed, or are those things being done by, say, the support of the city and those kinds of things?
Thanks, Karen. So the sculpture is envisioned. There have been several working groups for the city representatives and Argent and Islands and Oceans and others, kind of at the end of the parking lot at Bishop's Beach, but really drawing attention to how much Bishop's Beach Park needs sort of a master plan overhaul. And so it's kind of triggered a discussion of there actually needs to be upgrades of some of those facilities, but that's kind of where it is, right next to where I think there's a rotary bench, just at the edge of the parking lot overlooking the shore itself. And then the acrylic has been, the big sort of boulders themselves have been paid for and fabricated, but there's still some, the kind of the pole and the bench that would go around the bottom are still missing costs. And then some of that installation too, like large landscape boulders. The city is putting in-kind work and effort, and we hope to secure some others too. And this is kind of, in some ways, a beginning of our community crowdsourced funding to match those costs, to find the rest of the costs.
Karen, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much.
All right, I have some lovely comments in the chat. Wow, 3 great groups of programs, and oh my gosh, this is the hardest ever. But I don't see any more questions. If you have a question and I am not seeing you, please let me know.
Okay. Seems like we're done.
I think it's a testament
Thank you so
to
much.
how amazing the presentations were. They were thorough and organized. It's come a long way since my first one. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, no doubt. And thank you so much. So it's time to vote. I'm going to pull the voting screen up. It's pretty straightforward. You're just going to select one choice. And during that time, while we've got that up, I've got a couple of more announcements. So without further ado, I'm going to launch the poll. And then I'm going to talk in the background while you're looking at that. Really want to give a huge shout out to Joel Restad, who's the owner of the Art Shop Gallery. Her providing the ability to mail checks there is just going to give us simplification and continuity as we move forward. So it doesn't matter if I evaporate, you're just going to have the same address to send your checks to. So I think that is huge. And then I want to just celebrate that Patrice was able to join the meeting today, and I am looking forward to getting feedback from Patrice about how it went and how we can stay true to what she set up. And remind everyone, and you can email me at 100women at gmail.com if you would like to know how to connect with Patrice's Caring Bridge. And then I just want to recognize that spam was a pain for a lot of people, and it looks like we busted through it. So again, if you email me from your email, if it's ending up in your spam, if you just start a new email and email 100womenhomer at gmail.com, I think that cures a problem for most people. And at this point, 43 people have voted out of 49 who are participating, so 44. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. I think it's already decided with the numbers we have in, but it is kind of tight too. Okay, we're at 46. I'm going to, and someone, Janet is saying, do we see Karen raising her hand?
Yes, and Katerina, what actually is the email so you can email so that you aren't in spam? Because you just put the word Homer inside that email. And I want to be very clear exactly what it is.
Yep, and we can pop that slide back up later, but it's the number 100 Women Homer at Gmail.
Women Homer, okay. Thank you.
Yep, you are so welcome. And we're at 46. It's been stuck on 46. I'm using Ingrid's popcorn. I'm going to share the poll. Here we go. Are you all seeing that? I think you are. It was closer than it's been for a while. Howell is going to be who we write our $100 checks to. And then you send them to the art shop gallery or drop them off there. We'll share that slide again in a minute, but I'm leaving this up because it has who to write the checks to. Because of course, every quarter we get people writing checks to all 3 or to 2 of the organizations. But the main thing is write it to Howell, send it to the art shop gallery.
Can I just say thank you ahead of time? Thank you so much, everybody.
And if you get those checks in by Friday, March 11th, you can win 2 dozen cookies. And I think if I stop sharing this now, Ingrid can maybe share the slide that has the mailing addresses, slide 2, Ingrid. But we are done and we have come in under 7 o'clock again. And so you can start thinking about whether you are able to pitch for an organization next quarter, which will be June 7th. And we'll be meeting in person for those who are able to do that. We'll be meeting in person at the college. I will send emails about that. Okay. And tomorrow I will send out an email and make a Facebook post about the recipients with details of who to write the checks to and where to send the checks to. But that wraps up our meeting for this evening. Hope you all have a good dinner and thank you so much.
Beautiful job, Ingrid and Catriona.
Patrice, since we have a couple extra minutes, can you give us a little update?
Well, I'm here in Portland. I've rented a little house to stay in while I'm waiting, but I spend a lot of time over at the hospital. I'm completely ready. Everything that needs to be done is done, and I'm just waiting for the perfect heart to become available. And that could be, I mean, it could be this evening or it could be in June. You don't know. It's not a linear wait list by any means. It's very multi-leveled, and I just continue to hope that it'll come soon. Thank you for asking.
Of course, we're all thinking about you.
Thanks. Thanks. I miss everybody.
Well, Inventing Anne is a pretty good one to
I asked on my Caring Bridge blog on my journal if anybody had any ideas for TV shows for me to binge watch, series. And I mean, there's got to be 200 different recommendations. It was overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. I could watch TV 24 hours a day and never see them all. It was fabulous.
Ask and you shall receive.
Not kidding. Now I'm hoping to win the cookies and make Catriona mail them to me.
One of my favorite things about the art shop gallery is getting to browse when I go to pick up the checks. It's so fun. There's a couple things I've got my eye on, but I have to get a real job first.
I understand the temptation. Great job, everyone. See you later.